Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. Let me know how the sound is sounding. Am I blowing out the mic? I had to redo some things, but I'm going to use a different mic next week. I'm going to use the Rode portable one that I have. It's kind of a pain to set up, but I'm going to, just to see if we can... just to see what happens. So guys, let us see who is here. Teats Treats says my greenhouse is getting pummeled with rain. Oh yeah, in San Francisco, they got amazing amounts of rain. I love that. Yes, Tsunami Tommy says, oh yeah, rain in NorCal. What part of NorCal again? I was in the Garberville area, we'll say outside the mountains there. I heard they got hit with an earthquake, Humboldt did. Recently, and there was a tsunami warning at least. How did any of that play out? Were you affected by any of that? Val, hello my friend, says hi tribe, happy to be able to show up today. Cold out here in the high desert of Arizona. Went to California last weekend. Not a fan of SoCal traffic, Southern California traffic. Yeah, if you guys have ever been to LA, it's an experience altogether. Yeah, it's an experience altogether. Sitting in LA traffic makes you kind of just bummed out at the human experience. Just kind of like, man, this is what we're doing. This is what it's all come to. And just everywhere you go, just maximum congestion everywhere you go. Just maximum congestion everywhere. So at least that's my experience. I don't have a lot of experience in SoCal, mostly NorCal. Okay, guys, let's see here. How about a hello PA Perm, Pennsylvania Permaculture. Jay Dixon says sound is okay. Let's see. Let's do the sound check. Gingerbread. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? And so, guys, check this out. Okay, we've got the, these things turned out to be a lot of fun. And look who made a gingerbread, a Viking gingerbread house. Look at that. We had a little contest, huh? Me and Camille and Tegan had a little contest. And I had to go kind of overboard, but it was really fun, actually. If you guys haven't made gingerbread houses, these things are fun. The epoxy, well, you know, it's different than like actual construction. So I thought my construction background would help. Turns out it doesn't really help much here. Yeah, the epoxy is, well, frosting. And so literally frosting. So it doesn't want to hold, it doesn't want to bond all that strongly. So you have to, and then all of the other components are literally made of candy. So kind of challenging, but fun, huh? Ooh, Lucas, gingerbread from a ginger head. Good one. Good one. Yeah, let me just show you that a couple more times, okay? Because I'm quite proud of this. Yes. Look to Nature Homestead. Yes. So you're fashionably late. Welcome. And, ooh, the Clark it is definitely. Big West says the Clark Griswold of gingerbread houses. It actually definitely is. And I wish that I had like a stand to put this on, you know, so that you could see it here constantly, huh? It is definitely the Clark Griswold house of the gingerbread house but it's Valhalla. It's got the Viking compass up front, up top, you know? So, yeah, just gonna leave that there. And am I gonna eat that, Graham? Absolutely not, actually. No, there's no chance that I will be ingesting this red 40 and the yellow 20 and the blue 5 and the whatever other kind of unknown to the periodic table elements are keeping this thing from rotting or from doing anything. Actually, it's just frozen in like a permanent state of non-decay, even though it's supposed to be like a cookie and stuff. So, but whatever, it's not for eating. Okay, yeah, Graham, you know me better than that. Not gonna be eating that. Yeah. So, ooh, from dentist to farmer. I've not seen that name here before. Have you changed your name, or is that a new? Are you new here? Welcome if you are. Sam, used your homegrown ginger in the bread, correct? Yeah, that's incorrect actually, because these are, I think that the only thing ginger here is the color. I don't think that there's one scrap of organic material. Um, so, yeah, red 6. Oh, sorry, Melanie, red 6, okay? What's up, Simplified Gardening, my friend? Says, hey, all just popped in to say hi. Can't stop though. I'm on a Christmas night out. Just want to show support for Nate. Have a great live. Thank you very much, my friend. Yes, have a good time. And it's a wonderful time of year. Yes. So look forward to having you back on the show sometime in the spring, guys. We're going to, that went so well. I mean, that was so much fun and a great response from you guys. So I'm going to line up from late January, February, March, April, May, probably those 5 months, if we can get that many people. I want to try and line up 2 people per month. So every other live stream will be a guest. Definitely Tony is down. Scott, Gardener Scott is down for that. What's the guy's name? I always forget. From Edible Acres. Thanks to you guys. He has he contacted me, and so now, and we arranged. So yes, he's going to be on the show, and I already know David the Good's going to be on the show because he's down for it. I want to try. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I want to try and get Jenna, because she's just over in Ohio. You know, I want to try and get Jenna on the show, and I want to try and get Mark on the show. Want to try and get several people on the show. Maybe I'll interview Enoch. How about that? Try to get him on my show. Yes. So all that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll get Big Will Dog in the Soil on the show. Yes. So we'll see, guys. Which one of you guys is confident enough you would like to be on the show? I mean, which one of you really wants to be on the show? So, and feels like you've got a good amount of things you want to say to the tribe. So Brian Airy says, Nate, was anything said by the electric bike company on your writing style? I actually haven't received an email from them yet. So I don't know. I just posted it. I don't really know how that whole thing's supposed to work, because I don't do that kind of thing often. It just, those guys got me because I've been wanting an electric bike. And so if you haven't already, guys, please watch the electric bike video I made. I know it has absolutely nothing to do with gardening, but it has to do with just an overall gardening lifestyle, an overall fun lifestyle. How about that? Garden Like a Viking it's more than just that. So it's about having just a good lifestyle, okay? So that's where the bike fits in. And it was a lot of fun, definitely. Now, we will be putting pegs on the back. I want to put some kind of pegs on the back, and then I want to put like a pillow so that, or some kind of foam that she can sit on, because it easily rides both of us. So that was a lot of fun, definitely. Let's see here. And okay, let's see. Big Will Dog says, I'm down to be on the show. Yes, good. Pam from South Africa says, watch the video, channel Regenerative Farmers, how regenerative agriculture makes it rain more, prevents droughts. Nice. We will have to check that out. Let's see here. So, yeah. You thought it was well done. Thank you, Melanie. Yes, thank you for the video. You're talking about the video. Yes. B. Hendricks says, I put a banana seat on the back of my e-bike for my niece to ride with. That's not a bad idea, actually. That's not a bad idea. So, guys, beyond gingerbreads, though, it is this fermentation journey has just been amazing. Okay, it has been It's totally open up. Once my philosophy on fermenting changed and some of my knowledge changed on it, and I began acquiring more things from different places and stuff, it's totally changed the game on fermenting. So I'm pretty sure I'm kicking around the idea, thanks to Tony, Simplified Gardening, yes, and thanks to several of you guys, but I think we're going to start a different channel for all of the cooking and all of the fermenting because there's so much I want to say. And I mean, really, to me, that's what it's all about. Growing the food is just the base of cooking. You know, it's for consuming. The whole thing, the way that I'm gardening and growing is not just for like show flowers. You know, it's 100% for thriving, for eating. And so if you're not preparing this stuff, and you'd be amazed at how many people grow stuff and don't consume it, or have no idea how to use it, or just kind of give it away. They just like to grow stuff. But so in the new channel, we'll be doing all these different fertilizer recipes, or these fermenting recipes. We'll be doing tons. I mean, I literally cook from scratch every day. I've got hundreds of recipes and ideas and all that kind of dishes and everything like that, all from the garden. So if you guys want to see that, if you think that should be a separate channel, I'm pretty sure it should. But the problem with that is that, man, now you've got to, all of a sudden, you got to create double the amount of content, you know? And during the gardening season, just creating enough for this channel is a lot for me, because it's all just me. Recording, editing, everything. And so, I mean, the whole process. And so now it's like, okay, you want a separate channel? Well, now you're going to double all of that. Ooh. So, you know, the allure is that on this channel, if I did a fermenting video, that's the video for the week, and then 2 shorts, and then a live, you know, or a long form video, a short, and a live stream. That's what I like to do during the growing season on this channel. It works really well. Now, if I have to do that on another channel as well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I think it's that important, because it's just opened up the whole, there's little differences, even among things like this sauerkraut here, okay? So I got the salt ratio exactly correct this time. And little differences. Well, one, we're using the Brunswick cabbage after several hard freezes, and it is absolutely delicious. Sweet. I mean, it's so buttery that it's unbelievable. And so little differences, like getting the salt exactly perfect to the gram. Okay, I weigh it all out now. And I shredded this. I shredded it with the shredder instead of cutting it. And the shreddedness is adding a different flavor to it. It unlocks a different type of flavor. Because there's one that I cut, same cabbage, same salt, everything, doesn't taste the same. It's different in the mouth. Yeah? So so that is really good. Now here is one with green cabbage, purple cabbage, carrots, green onions, and seaweed and mushrooms, dried mushrooms. Yes. So this one, I'm really looking forward to it. The person who's recommending it to me says that this one tastes like A1 steak sauce. Did you hear that? A1 steak sauce. That's like the umami flavor of it. Yeah? Man, sounds good. So it's just going to be amazing. All the ones we've tried so far, the curry daikon is probably one of my favorite. And Camille's, one of our favorite. And I also learned more about it this time. I used to worry about leaving headspace and then putting a fermentation weight on top. Okay, so I used to do that for years, and it really, it's good, it works, but you have a more failure, and you have to make sure that that weight is keeping everything submerged. Now I learned the different technique that is not, I don't use any weights, I don't use anything else. It's just fantastic, okay? And it's working beautifully. I've not had one failure. Everything is working. I just can't get over it. So like last night we had, hang on, I got to get a towel. This thing's leaking. That's the other thing though, that you have to put them in a tray because they leak all over the place. Only while they're fermenting. Hold on. Yes, my gingerbread house is not exactly watertight, okay? So let me just get this rearranged here. And man, so like for the meals, okay, we've been having because we just a couple weeks ago got the whole beef from Jerry, member of the tribe, the cattle farmer, grass-fed, grass-finished, very consciously raised with lots of love, the best source possible for the beef. We just got the whole cow, so it filled all of our freezers. We're just overflowing with delicious beef, and so every meal is like beef, which of course I only eat dinner, so there's only one big meal of the day, and it's a steak or a ground beef or some kind of meat-based thing. And then lately it's been several different ferments. So imagine that, it's so good. So a steak, some potatoes, and then a plate full of different ferments, just a dollop of each. Oh, it's so good. I can't get over it. So let's see here. Andre says, yes, please make a channel about fermenting and cooking. You will put a lot of these videos until summertime at least. Yes, actually. And that's what I'm thinking as well. It can be winter content. Yeah. Which at the moment I'm taking a break, but definitely. So yes, but we'll see. I think though, so that's a great idea though. Fermenting, cooking, just so many different, there's so many different aspects of it. And eventually I want to do, I mean, I could do live cooking shows. No problem. I would love to do it. Yeah. Now, Pam, gardening and cooking goes together, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I would say that definitely, but the algorithm doesn't say that. So it's you will dilute the way on YouTube. You have to be super, super niche. They just want you to get confined into the smallest little box that you possibly can, so that they know exactly what viewers to put the video in front of to make them click on it. That's all that they care about. That's for the most part. That's all that they care about is getting the viewer to click on the video and be engaged. So they can't recommend videos. They don't know who to put it in front of if it's like even slightly off topic, you know? So that's an unfortunate part, but it's a reality. And so you can't. So listen, guys, there is now these AI tools, okay? Not you guys don't see it, but if several of you, if any of you guys have channels where you're putting out content that are, I think you have to be over a certain size, you know, before they'll do the AI stuff for you. But now, okay, I told you that there was AI responses, okay? So where the AI responses have already just got out of control good. I mean, they still sound fake to me, but they're just, the AI responses are like pulling things that they're just like formulating these whole answers that are mostly right, but not anything I've ever even said. But then they say it in a way that I've said. It's getting crazy already. But now, just the other day, I realized there's a new feature called inspiration. All right, so in YouTube Studio, where I go to edit and put up videos and do all that stuff, there's a section now called inspiration. And you can go to that section and it tells you, it gives you AI created ideas of exactly what videos to make and their percentage of engagement that video will give to your audience. Okay. So like if I go to it now, it says, it gives me like 7 video topic ideas. All right. And every one of them are DIY fertilizers or JDOM. That's all the real engagement on my channel gets, you know, is free fertilizers and JDOM. And so it gives you these ideas, the battle of the fertilizers, JDOM versus organic bloom fertilizer, and then it tells you exactly how to make the video. It gives you, if you click on it, it gives you the whole video rundown of bullet points of exactly what to say even. So it tells you, okay, point 1, illustrate the difference between organic fertilizers and JDOM. Well, let's use the composting one, for example, all right? So that's one that it says that I should use. It says there would be extremely high engagement in a video titled, Compost Your Kitchen Scraps with JDOM. And so I said, okay, so I click on that, and then it tells me exactly what to say and how to structure the video now. And the bullet points say, explain to the people how what a tremendous amount of food waste is happening in America each year. And so, okay, so you can click on that and it gives you statistics to use in the video. I'm like, okay, well, why don't you just make the video for me and post it? I mean, just make the whole thing, because what am I even doing here then? And so but then I go through the video and stuff, and it's not really right. It says the things with utmost confidence, but it says, one of the bullet points is, okay, now show the audience how to layer the kitchen scraps with composting material and add oxygenation into the JDOM compost. And I'm like, okay, that is not right. The JDOM doesn't layer any. There is actually no composting in the JDOM system. It's all anaerobic fermentation. There's no oxygenation. So it's got some work to do. But guys, it's just crazy. Okay. As a person that is that's my thing, is content creation now. It's unbelievable. So I don't know where it's going to go, I mean, I think I know. So, yeah. Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. Yes, Shawnee Grows. Inspiration tab gives you the title, the overviews, the script, the thumbnail, all of it. I know. It's unreal. But I just, in my heart, I'm like, that's not how I want to do things. That's missing the whole point to me. So, but the thing is, there's going to be so many people that utilize that they're going to advance and just crush everybody else, because the algorithm knows exactly what is engaging. Up until now, we've just had to sort of guess. The content creators just had to sort of guess and make things that I think or feel like people want to see, or that I feel like would be engaging. No more. Now you just use AI, and AI will tell you exactly what to say, what keywords to say to trigger engagement in people's minds. The whole landscape's changing. It's crazy. So, yeah. Yes. Let's see. Beach by Repeat says, I have a friend who started a separate cooking channel, and he has over 65,000 subs in 8 months. It's doing better than his primary channel. Nothing to lose. Yes, I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. I think I'm going to do it. And obviously, it's just going to be called Cook Like a Viking. Yes. Because that's what it's going to do. Shawnee says, we need more people showing how to eat the harvest. The winter meals of meat, potatoes, and fermented foods sounds the way to go. It really is. I mean, it is quite incredible how the ferments have just opened up a whole new game. I mean, you kind of need to get a separate refrigerator just for the ferments. And that's something else I didn't do before. I would make the ferments and leave them out basically in the basement for months, and they would be fine, but they would get so sour that by the end it's just like eating mouthfuls of Warheads or Sour Patch Kids. I mean, if you remember those things, just like so sour, just mouthfuls of lemon, or something. And like, this is good, I guess. It's not rotten. That's a plus. But man, so sour, that's all you can taste. Instead, now you ferment it for a specified amount of time and at a specified temperature range, and then put it in the refrigerator. And that changes the game. You can taste the flavors of all the stuff more, much more. But my thought was, our ancestors didn't have refrigerators, and which is true, of course, but they had other ways of doing things, and it was just different. So there's so many different things. So for ease and all of that, the refrigerator is amazing. Yeah. Meyer Lemon says, grub like a Viking. Yes, definitely we will be. But no doubt the channel name has to be Cook Like a Viking, because that's what the books, when they start coming out, there will be Garden Like a Viking, there will be Cook Like a Viking, there will also be something along the lines of Thrive Like a Viking or Meditate. There will be the whole what I do on the Thrive channel about mindset, subconscious belief systems, and kettlebell training, and there's so many different things, So my thing is that I have to be careful not to box myself into the tiny little corner, because that's just not how I am. There's so many different things going on in life. Yeah. Shawnee Gross says, having a fridge for ferments was the game changer. That's part of the game changer, yes, because the fridge halts the fermentation process. And so I wasn't giving that enough weight. I wasn't giving that enough importance. It's actually really important. If you don't want everything to just taste the same, all my ferments eventually, after a month or 2 months, definitely would all just taste so sour, that you can't taste any of the flavors. But when you halt the fermentation process with the refrigerator, now all of a sudden you can taste these different flavors that you've added. Yes. Look to nature. I was going to, I thought you were going to go with Feast Like a Viking. I was going to, except I need the name. It's like Garden Like a Viking. Well, what's the channel about? Well, it definitely has gardening in it, So, Cook Like a Viking. What's the channel about? Well, it's definitely about cooking. There's definitely cooking in it. It needs to say right away what it is, Cook Like a Viking. Feast Like a Viking could be so many different things. That's what we'll do on the channel, but you got to keep the name really to the point. Yeah. And guys, I've almost begun, but I have begun working with a guy to make the logo. Okay. Finally, after all this time, I feel like the work is speaking to me. It's not cheap, but the guy seems like a real professional. He's got a big Instagram account with thousands of different examples of his thought process on it. It's really cool. So I'm not even going to say his name yet. I'm not going to recommend anything until the project is complete. But I can see already it's going to be amazing. But now, well, there's no need to discuss that. Meyer Lemons, how long would you say the average ferment lasts in the fridge? Months and months, at least 6 months until the next growing season. So that's really all we're concerned about. With this kind of living and stuff, we're not concerned about, there's canning things, which is great, but and that lasts for a long time. Okay. But the ferments, we're only concerned about storing up enough stuff until the next growing season, basically, because then everything's fresh and everything's new, and then we're gonna have a whole new source of stuff. So, the potatoes and the sweet potatoes and all that, they only need to last, most of the way through the winter and stuff. But like the sweet potatoes, ferments will last at least 6 months in the fridge, is what everything says. Now, I've yet to actually experience that, I have to say. Many of them are claimed to last 10 months to a year in the fridge. If you keep your fridge real cold, which I do, keep it real cold. But I've yet to experience that, so I won't know for sure, but it seems like it will work, especially when in the past I didn't even refrigerate them, like I said. So Big Will Dog says, Nate, I could use a guy like that. Hit up my email with the details. Yes, I will once I am confident that this is going in the right direction. He's got a big Instagram account, and his thought process, the way he incorporates the themes and what you're trying to go for with the design is awesome. Because up until this point, everyone, a lot of people have been very gracious and helpful and wanted to show me, different types of logos and design things for me, which I deeply appreciate. But at the same time, I have to only go with what speaks exactly to me, and so to me, a good logo needs to be able to be drawn in the sand. Yes, I heard this one time and it stuck because it's so true. A good logo needs to be simple. It can't be a super detailed image of a Viking with a beard and all this kind of stuff and rely on different colors and everything. It needs to be able to be drawn in the sand. It's so simple, more or less, But this thing's going to be on all kinds of stuff. It's going to be burned into the cutting boards that Viking Uncle makes by hand. It's going to be put on the buckets. It's going to be on that merch and all that kind of stuff. Maybe tools, whatever it is, it's going to be all over the place. And so it needs to just be easy to see and spot and put onto stuff without being like super complicated, like pretty much all the other ones that I've seen have been, or they have not really expressed the feeling that I'm going for. Yeah. So this guy's a real artist, But do any of you guys know on the Brian, thank you very much, my friend. $5 says, let me see real quick. Face ID, yes. Brian says, wait. Says, thank you, Nate. I might think about rolling the travel channel into the Thrive channel and making the cooking channel. You will still have 3 channels. I know, that's not a bad idea. But that actually, thank you for the $5, my friend. That actually is the reason that I started the Thrive or the travel channel, is because I started when I was making the master on the Thrive channel, making the master cleanse, and the channel was growing real fast. But then I branched off into traveling videos, and then I branched off into breathwork videos, and it just went, because the algorithm doesn't know okay, there's all these different things. No one person is going to be super into all these different things. It's not like the YouTube was back in 2010 when people subscribed to the person, they didn't care. Like Casey Neistat, how his videos can be about absolutely anything because people subscribe to see him doing that, whatever it is. That was old school YouTube. Now it's become so particular and niche that every tiny little thing has to just have its own. It's almost like, okay, I have to have, cabbage like a Viking, where we just do cabbage, a whole channel about just cabbage. And then we'll have tomato like a Viking, so that the whole channel's just about tomatoes. That would explode. Like Pepper Geek, his channel, just about peppers. So the traveling channel, I'm fine with just letting that sit, because that's just more a feeling. I made those videos when I was like, before, when I was just coming back from the mountains and really needed to express myself. I did not feel heard, and I was still going through a big transformative process internally. So I was making those videos then for the most part. So when I get around to that, that's more just like a video journal of my travels, and we're only 1 year in to the 10-year odyssey. But we'll get to those someday, probably when we get a production crew at some point. But for now, it's going to be the Garden Like a Viking and cook like a Viking. Those are the primary things. The Thrive channel, we're always going to do those lives and everything like that, but that's more down the road that I see that being a foundational part of everything. So that's where we're at with it. But thank you very much for the suggestion, my friend. Now I want to ask you guys, because I got the first. Okay, so this guy that's going to do the logo, so he sent me an invoice via PayPal. Now, how does that work? He just did it right before this thing, so I haven't had a chance to look that up. But if they send you an invoice, are you paying that 100% up front? Because that doesn't really seem, that's not how good business is done in my mind. You don't pay 100% up front for anything like that, right? I mean, I wouldn't. So yes, P.S. Reed says, all in one channel, live like a Viking, the Viking life. Yes, thank you, my friend. It's all like a Viking. It's all like a Viking, definitely. But all in one channel would never reach the audience that we need to reach, in order to do what we need to do, as far as get the land and start the school and all of that. Where the Like a Viking school, where we'll teach all that stuff, but it will be, the videos and stuff have to be very to the point. Yes, Big West says, love your logo or dump it. It's got to hit you in the spot, eh? Canadian. Yes, definitely. It does. And Pam says, simplicity is the essence of good design. Definitely. I agree. And it needs to be simple yet bold statement. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes, Jay. One logo that will be able to cross all uses for you. Definitely. That is what we're going for. It's a big undertaking. And we're at the ground floor of it. So we'll see. Now in the contract, there is 4 weeks. This project can take 4 weeks. And we get like 4 revisions. We get 4 concepts and 4 revisions. So it's a whole thing. But I will definitely show you guys probably some things and see what you think about stuff. Although ultimately it has to just go with what I'm feeling. Yeah. P.S. Reed says, hey, Viking, hope the off season is going well. Shopping seeds and getting compost ready. Yes, my friend, definitely. This thing came out not too long ago, and we talked about it last week. But man, tiny little book. And some of you think that it's easier to read. I think that it looks to be of a much lower quality. Yeah. Ooh, they've changed this though a little bit. Look, what I just opened up to the Tahitian melon squash, where that says this near legendary butternut type was one of the first rediscovered heirlooms that fueled the early heirloom movement. Its fruit is large, 40 pounds or more, although 12 to 20 pounds is more common. I have definitely had 40 pounders. The orange flesh is richly fragrant, very sweet and delicious. The plants are rugged and huge. They grow over a wide range of conditions, even in the scorching hot summers of the Southwest. And then he's got a tiny little Tahitian melon squash there. But the near legendary status, they must be watching this channel, because here it is near legendary. But like I said, we've grown it for so many years with so many different of the Moshada type that what we have now is sort of like a land race, yeah, where we've only sort of saved the seeds from the best ones, the strongest ones, and they've sort of cross-pollinated over the years to where you get different things. Yes, okay. Big Will Dog says, yes, you just pay the invoice. So what does that mean? So I pay the invoice and it remains suspended until receipt? Is that what it is? So the invoice is like a middleman. I pay the invoice, which is fine, and then he's like, okay, that's there. So when we agree, then he gets paid, right? It doesn't go directly to his account because that doesn't feel right. That's not how it's done for me, right? Because like Val says, right, where is the incentive to follow through if you're 100% paid? Exactly. Even though he's got a large social media following, that doesn't really matter. I mean, although it actually does matter a lot, because I have got a lot of offers from other people that have no social media following, and you're like, well, okay, but if this guy's got over 100,000 followers on Instagram, then okay, so he's doing something. This is legit, right? I mean, you don't get that many subscribers by being a total con artist, or a flake, for the most part. Although there are some total con artists that have millions of subscribers. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, yes, definitely. Jay Dixon says, you want clear business terms for elements for logo design, including payment. Absolutely. That's what I like this guy. Since the whole thing, you print it out and it gives you all the different versions that you get it in, the social media, I forget the exact JPEG and all the other different little things that you need, all the formats to use it across all different platforms. And you get signed over all the rights. It's all right there. It's yours, free and clear. You get the program and all of that kind of stuff. So it's he's very upfront with all of it. And of course, I've used ChatGPT to ask what are the things I need to make sure. Boom, gives me the list of all the things that you want to make sure that you have when doing this kind of agreement or arrangement. And I went through, and that guy had every single one of them. So that's good. Yeah. Right, of course. VA Green says, no way I'd pay before you have agreed on the design of the logo. Of course, that's why I'm trying to understand what this is about. What's the invoice? Do I pay the invoice? And so we'll see. Obviously, I'm not going to pay it 100% upfront without one drop of work yet. So exactly, Aaron. Right, Brian. Yeah. Oh, I get it. It says, Nate, don't pay for anything until you've seen the end product. Yes. AK Froggy, waiting for the Viking Underculture channel featuring Tahitian melon squash. We'll feature some Tahitians, except we'll call it Viking battle squash. Yeah. So Graham says, Nate, find some wild rabbit manure and make a tea with it. It's the best I've used yet. My house plants are exploding. Needs to be seen to be believed. Use it neat. You only need a handful of it. Yes, definitely. Rabbit manure is a very good source. We don't really have wild rabbits here, though. Not like you probably do there. So, I mean, we do, but you'd be hard pressed to find some rabbit droppings, unless you got a little grassland that you can go to. But remember, everything's been just cut down and decimated here. So it's all just farmland. Every little scrap of woods or prairie land just wiped out farmland. Get corn and soybeans and maybe a little bit of wheat, but get GMO corn and soybeans happening right away so we can start making money. That's the only thing. The land is a commodity. It's there so that we can make more money. So there we go. That's that. So that's why we don't really have wildlife here. I mean, we do, but it's all just different. Even the deer around here. Everyone is like, man, those giant Indiana white-tailed deer. I'm going to go and get me some of them. Eat real nice and natural. We're going to hunt some whitetail or hunt some of these deer here. And so that we're eating chemical free. Okay, except for the fact that they literally eat boatloads of GMO corn and soybeans. That's what these things are eating. They're out there in the fields just like eating tons of corn and soybeans and little wheats and stuff like that. All genetically modified crops. And that's probably one reason they get so massive here. And people like them is because they are super fat. Okay, don't get me started on those rants. All right. That guy Chris says, question, when adding old logs to the bottom half of a new raised bed, is it worth soaking them in urine and a dash of chicken before covering? Hold on. Before covering with compost soil. Okay, so yes, definitely you can. If they have already started to decompose, then it might not be that big of a deal. What you will need to do, though, or what would be better, is to add high nitrogen actual substances. The soaking in urine probably will help. Yes, I mean, definitely it would. But I would more so add a layer of fresh chicken manure to the bottom, put the logs on, round side up, and then sprinkle more chicken manure throughout the whole thing. That would really help a lot. But yeah, and it depends on how deep you want to make it. But that would definitely help, yes. Mississippi Soldier says, how do you cook the squash? So there's many different ways, but I've settled on the way that I like it the best. Let me grab one. Okay, so remember, guys, these came from the same plant. Okay, these are butternut squash or honey nut squash, which is a type of butternut, but smaller and sweeter. It's a hybrid, stabilized hybrid. Yeah, so it's heirloom now, meaning that the seeds will reproduce the same. But this is what they're supposed to look like. Here is what a handful of them look like. Now, this comes from the same plant. Okay. Now we could say, well, this was my electroculture plant. Look, this is the underculture plant. See how much bigger it is than this one? But that's not true. These came from the same plant. They were both grown out of the compost pile. The plant, there was only one, grown out of the compost pile. I probably got 30 of these with 75% this size, 25% this size. And the way I will do it now is I will just take it and slice it in half, scoop out the seeds. If you like the seeds, you can eat them, but these seeds are very fibrous and tough. Cut it in half, cut side up, and then roast it. Now, you can do, I will score it a lot of times like that, score it down to the flesh, and then put brown sugar and cinnamon and nutmeg and some salt and butter into it. That's how I like to do it. You can also make it savory. You can make it more savory with just salt and pepper and some garlic. But if you can do the same things with this. Just cut it and roast it. The same thing with the Tahitian squash. You can cut it and roast it. And in fact, it looks really good if you have to bring it to Thanksgiving or something. Big old Tahitian squash cut right in half, scored, and then roasted like that, cut side up. Nice and tender. Just don't overcook it because the squash can get, soggy squash is not really attractive. Okay. So if you want people to like it and if you want to like it, don't overcook it. Let's see here. Now, the Big Wheel Dog, I will definitely not be doing it, but you can take that torch and run with it. Yes, no problem. But you got to make sure you said, I heard it on Garden Like a Viking. It's got that underculture. And look, and you can stage it. You can say, look, here's the one grown with old compost using the soil food web, ridiculous, outdated stuff, when our ancestors spent so much time doing the soil food web, tilling the earth, organic matter and manures. What a bunch of fools. They didn't know. All they had to do was stick some copper in the ground and all they had to do was use some underculture. And they could get these. Look at my underculture one compared to this tiny little, look how small this thing is compared to how massive this one is. Do you see? Actually, wait, no, look, it's this one. Look how massive this one is compared to how tiny this one is. This one, see? It's all perspective. It's all a joke. So anyways, yes, do that. That is perfectly, like I said last week, the term that they use in the UK, they have a term called taking the piss. And when I was living in Greece teaching scuba diving, I worked at this resort that that was all about high class English people. These packages, which included diving, were very expensive, and so you would so these not high class but upper class. And so I lived with, so it was all English, or from the UK, as Irish and Scottish and English and stuff. And so I lived with these people as well. And the way that they talked really kind of rubbed off on me. And so I began to use that term all the time. You taking the piss? Huh? You taking the piss? And at first I was like, what are you saying? Taking a piss? That doesn't make any sense. But then I learned. And so it's actually really fitting the way that they use it. We don't really have an equivalent here. It's like, are you making fun? But that doesn't sound the same. It's not the same thing. Taking the piss is it's just really funny. Yeah. So pissing in the wind is one I use. Yes, that can be sometimes. We use that one as well. Let's see. Melanie says, Mexico said they're not buying corn from the U.S. anymore, and China said they're not buying any more corn or soybeans from the U.S. either. Okay, where are they going to get it from? Brazil? Maybe. Guys, when you start looking into world trade, it blows your mind. When you drive through the Midwest and you see all this miles and miles and miles of corn and soybeans, as far as you can see for hours on end. And so you think, wow, so Americans just must be eating so much of this corn and soybeans. But then you find out that the majority of it is exported. So we export the soybeans to China, who likes American soybeans because they're of a higher quality, apparently, or whatever, who likes the American soybeans. So they will pay a slightly higher tag. So then we import them. America imports soybeans from Brazil because they're cheaper. And so think of that. Huge shipping barges and all this stuff that has to happen and all this infrastructure and thousands of miles of travel and trucks and all of that. It's all because they're slightly the differences in the trade, So someone's making money. It's just because it's all about making money. Everyone's like, well, we got all this farmland because we got to feed everybody. It's not about feeding everybody. It's about making profit. Yes. So, that it starts blowing your mind when you just realize, wait a second, America, it imports most of it. What? So it's wild. But Mexico, I don't think that they've got a lot of, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much economic power they have to make that choice. I don't know. So, because they got to get it from somewhere. Jay Dixon says, it's a shortening of the idiom taking the piss out of, which is an expression meaning to mock, tease, joke, ridicule, or scoff. Yes, that is what it means, taking the piss out of. Right. But even that, what does that mean? What does that really mean? How does that translate to real life? It's like we have the saying, oh, them boys are pissing vinegar. Pissing vinegar means they're like ready to go. We're ready to go. Do something. Where did that term come from? Okay, yes. Melanie says, yes, they made trade deals with other countries under the BRICS trade partnership. Oh, I believe that, yeah. What is it? BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and Saudi Arabia. I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive. But yes, that's Brazil. Guys, do you realize how big Brazil is? As far as my memory serves me, Brazil itself is the size of the United States, slightly smaller than the continental United States. I could be, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think landmass wise, it's almost similar. Which, if you've ever driven across the United States, it defies comprehension how massive it is. You drive for days on end and not even reach the other side. I mean, you can drive through Texas for a full day and just not even be out of Texas, you know? So it's unbelievable. Whereas in Europe, you drive like 45 minutes and you're in another country. You know, you just take the rail. Well, I'm in Germany. I'm going to take the rail and go to France, and I'll be there this afternoon. You know, just boom, like that. It's not like that in America. Very, very different. Ooh, Jerry Bates says, our neighbors are going to try to put in thousands of acres of solar panels. The soil loses again. Not sure how it will affect us. Thousands of acres of Oh, that's the project you were talking about, right? So they're going to put in thousands of acres of solar panels in the Midwestern United States. And where's the power going? Do I remember that story right? Where's the power going? Because most people would think, well, why would anyone hesitate? Why wouldn't you want a bunch of solar panels in providing power to your country? But I think that, according to Jerry's explanation of it when I was there last, that the thousands of acres of Indiana farmland is actually to power some kind of. Well, I'll wait for Jerry to respond. Okay. Yeah, probably data centers. Data centers, definitely, guys. I mean, look into this kind of stuff. The all of a sudden now that Google is now that companies and governments are realizing AI, that they're like, oh, you mean that's what this thing is capable of doing? Now it's like there's a Manhattan Project to a race for AI. All resources, boom, the absolute race to the superior AI. Whoever has the superior AI, whoever controls it, will rule and dominate all economic, all political, just everything virtually. You can you can see the future, and you can predict and manipulate human behavior in everything, all markets. Okay. I mean, think about this. Bitcoin will be cracked immediately when they create the true quantum computing that can crack Bitcoin, right away. I mean, just everything will change. So that is why they are the governments now. Now all of a sudden, nuclear power is a viable source. Well, hey, let's fire up those old nuclear reactors that we haven't really been investing in because we've been wanting to go solar. We've been wanting to, billions and trillions of dollars in solar power. But now all of a sudden, let's just fire them back up because it's cheap, clean energy for the AI, all for data centers. That's how much power these things need. When you start looking into it, guys, it blows your mind. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, okay. That's different than what I thought. Okay. That's different than what I thought. A chip plant, like a potato chip plant, or what kind of chip plant? So, yes. Let's see here. A couple of things. Now, what I can recommend to you guys for next year. Okay, computer chip. Computer chip. That's what I thought. I knew it was something with technology. So all those thousands of acres. Do you guys know how much that is? I mean, that's as far as you can see. I mean, that's like a sea. That's like a small inland sea of solar panels. Thousands of acres. And so the locals would be like, yeah, sure, it'll lower our energy costs. No, it won't. It's going to go to the computer chip producing factory in Lebanon, Indiana. So it's crazy, guys. It blows your mind. Yeah. Let's see here. So yes, semiconductors. Yes, definitely. All right, guys. Here is what you want to be growing next year as far as beans goes. Okay, so I took a break from growing beans last year, but I will be growing them again this upcoming year. So in the back of the garden, which guys, if you could see how awesome the garden is now, when I start making videos again in the spring, you're not even going to recognize this garden. I mean, you're really not. It's just gonna be a little bit mind-boggling. What's that a reference from? Mind-boggling. But let's see here. Yeah, so I was just going through showing how I was putting the straw down in the middle of the beds using the flakes. Yeah, this is all for future content. And we put the leaves into the beds, and then we put the straw down real nice and thick so that nothing is coming up. But look at that, guys. We've got lots of these beds now. See? And it feels like we doubled our real estate as far as how much we can grow here. It's just going to be fantastic. So see, here I am. I waited a little bit long, but yeah, there was a really nice red maple that has a beautiful leaves. And so I went and picked up every bag of leaves from that maple, and it just so happened to be exactly enough for the garden. And I put one bag of the maple leaves onto each bed. So what I'm going to do in the springtime is I'm going to pull that off and I'm going to pull the leaves off because it will take forever to warm up if I don't pull the leaves off. So in the springtime, I will pull the leaves off and probably put down black landscaping fabric for a few weeks. Now, I may put the leaves back on, but I'll probably hot compost them with grass clippings in the spring. But I'll probably will, because we're going to lay the drip lines and stuff. But if you leave them leaves on there, you'll be wondering why your tomatoes and peppers and eggplants and all that stuff are just not growing. They're just super slow because all that insulation is great in the middle of summer. But if you take that, and I've done this over the years so many times, if you take that, roll that leaves back, you will feel the soil is still freezing cold. You know, even though the days are now 85 degrees. It takes several weeks, up to a month longer for that soil to warm up. So it's best to pull it off. So that's what we're going to do. Hot compost that with the grass clippings. See? Big time difference. And man, when I tilled that soil up, guys, that stuff was unbelievable. I mean, unbelievably rich. So, right, Graham, absolutely. If you could print whatever money you need to build it, it's not a problem to them at all. Exactly. Yes. Because they're the ones that realize that, wait, the money is just not a real thing. It's convincing everyone to work for it that is the real thing. Ooh, see, I didn't know about that, or I still don't know about that, but I hear you saying that. Adam says stormwater protection plans for solar facilities typically involve revegetation with native plants. This is generally an improvement over monocrop industrial agriculture. That's not anything I know of, but if that's the case, that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? So under there, you could, or in those solar farms, you could plant different kinds of native plants. Although you couldn't have one bit of shade over those, over any of those things. Adam says, there's also going to be an incentive to maintain pollinator habitat since the monarch butterflies is going to get listed as threatened under the Endangered Species Act. Yeah, join the crowd as far as species that are just being wiped out. Just wiped out. So that would be cool. I mean, those sound like pluses, So we don't really know. I mean, you drive around here and you see there's signs all over, no solar farms on farmland. I mean, you drive through the country and no solar farms. And I'm always like, well, why exactly? Why? And they're like, it's of course profit driven again, though. They're like, because that's good viable farmland that we've been farming for years and it's taken money out of our pockets. It's always profit driven, of course, which I get it. I mean, I understand. But What beyond that? Why is it so terrible? I don't know. You know, I'm not quick to make a decision about any of that. I just want to know more. Melanie says, I can't even afford a used car, and I don't like all these newer cars with all these chips in them because they can control your vehicle. OnStar used to do that. Turn off your car off and on, and there, and others can. Yes, but the thing is, in a few years, I mean, from now on, all the cars are going to have that. So you can wait 10 years, sure, but planned obsolescence with the cars, you'll need a car eventually that will have all of these features. My mom's car, that's 4 years old now, has got like 8 different cameras on it, inside, outside, all around. It's listening to every word that you say all the time. It's all going through the database. I'm just driving along. But it's for safety. If you nod off, the vehicle pulls over and stops. You know, not that one, but the new ones do. So, but it's for your safety. Dorothy says, I think it would have been better if you shredded the leaves. They will decompose very quickly in the spring. Yeah, and I've done that, of course. And you've seen my videos over several years that I used to do that all the time, shred them big time. They don't totally decompose, though. They definitely don't. They will still be there, but they do decompose faster. And if I planned on using them as a mulch, I would probably have done that, you know, but I actually want them full size. I want them to smother everything out. I want them to smother out everything until the time comes when I will pull them off. And the reason I chose maple leaves instead of oak leaves is because they decompose, in my experience, the fastest of all the leaves. If they were oak leaves, forget about it. I mean, they can take years to decompose, several seasons. But maple leaves will decompose. Those will mat down real fast. Watch, I'll show you pictures in just a few weeks, and they'll be totally matted down, smothering out anything. Yeah, that's why I didn't put them over the garlic. You put straw over the garlic, because if you put just whole leaves over the garlic, it's not coming up through that. Yeah, the prodigal gardener. See, there's many different ways to do things. It says 2 of my beds have nematodes in them and I can't rid them, so I'm exhausted by beds, too much work. I'm making grow bag rows instead. Much easier, and I can remove a bag should my soil become contaminated. Yeah, it's all relative. I mean, that's still going to be a lot of work. Grow bags are still a lot of work. Make no mistake. See, these aren't, I mean, these are kind of raised beds, but if you see how we did it though, it's like a modified raised bed. I know that's kind of hard to understand maybe, but let me just show you real quick. So here is a video of one of my workers. Yeah, Camille. See, we laid the beds down and then we shoveled the soil out of the aisleways into the beds. So it's all actually the same sort of. They're not really like raised beds that much. They're 2x10s that are about halfway full, 2/3 the way full. They definitely will help with drainage, though. I mean, there's no doubt about that. This is a really good technique because the aisleways now are nice and low. So that's going to allow everything to drain. So should we get the reason that I'm choosing that type of bed style and not like sunken beds, okay, like a lot of people suggested last year after they saw my video about the droughts and everything, we don't actually have a desert climate as far as I know, not yet, but we could easily get a spring or a summer that is just full of rain nonstop. And so I have to plan for that as well. And so I couldn't possibly make sunken beds or beds that retain water really good because they would get flooded out. They could get flooded out if we went back to having, it can just fluctuate like that. So these beds are for maximum resilience, because they can take a heavy downpour of rain and drain really easily, real easily. but they also can be watered, pulse watered once or twice a day. I think I'll probably go with twice a day for 30 minutes in the heat of the summer when the plants are full size. That's going to be ideal. That's what I used to do in Northern California, when it was real hot, 3 times a day for 30 minutes. And they love that. Moist, cool root zone. Even when it's blazing hot out, they can just grow really fast. Yeah, Lita, see, my garden is also just straight Indiana clay. It was 5 years ago, but now it is beautiful, rich, dark garden soil. I mean, I took several different videos of it. You could not ask for better soil. I mean, you really couldn't ask for better soil. It's hard to, oh God, we were dumping out the, J-Dom ferments and stuff. But look, I got this old school horse, Troy built horse tiller, and it's self-propelled. It's from 1978. And this thing is back when they made stuff to last. I mean, this is a real piece of farm equipment, and it just self-propelled. I'm not even doing anything. It just blah, 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 tills that stuff up. Super nice, rich soil. I wanted to show you, see, is what I was doing, just going over and over and over and really tilled it up good. It needed it. It really needed it. It was great. But what I couldn't believe is how the quality of the soil after just a handful of years of this types of practices. I mean, I could believe it, but let's see here. Thank you, Stephanie. Teats Treats, $2. Thank you, my friend. I missed that one. Says, kudos to Nate and the tribe for showing up in winter. Yes, definitely. Thank you, my friend, for the constant contribution and support. I appreciate this. But I just want to show you, I was hoping to, well, I know that there is some of these videos, but anyways, and then we planted the garlic in there. See, we grid planted the garlic. Having the beds that define space is so nice. So this we just planted the other day. And Big Will Dog, remember I was going to send you some of that special garlic, but turns out that's not really a good one. Most of it's rotten. Most of it is desiccated already. So we only ended up being able to plant a few cloves anyways of that because most of it kind of like turned brown gray, for whatever reason. So we're not sure about that, but some garlics are much more open to fungus because no pests really mess with the garlic, but all kinds of different fungal things mess with garlic. Part-time Greek vegan says, hi, Nate and folks. My favorite squash is Japanese kombucha. Amazing. For recipes, try recipes from other countries. An Indian recipe pairs squash with fennel, a combo I would have never thought of. Definitely. Yeah, definitely you compare, other countries are way more in tune with that kind of stuff. Taida says, they put a solar farm in the cornfields of my hometown. Totally divided the residents. Looks awful. No planting was done in partnership. Okay, well, there's some firsthand experience. Meyer Lemon says, solar panels cook the birds and pollinators. I don't know anything about that yet. Yes, definitely. Why not put solar farms in city rooftops and over parking areas? Definitely. Over entire parking lots. Why not put it over an entire parking lot? It's all, I'm sure, all because of money. It has to do with money. Tree Rogi says, Adam's right. They are now raising the solar panels so they can grow shaded plants underneath them. Jersey Girl says, solar panels will contaminate any land they are on due to the chemicals they leak out. Yeah, solar panels in my mind, and remember, I don't have like political stances on anything. So it's my stances are all just from my life experience. And so the solar panels to me just don't make any sense because they still have to be produced with petrochemicals. They still, I mean, all the transportation and all of just the concrete that goes, the things like windmills and stuff, all the concrete that goes into that, and all of it's all, to me, it seems like a huge money making sort of scheme. Let's get everyone believing that solar panels are going to be the way of the future. And so we can, all this billions of dollars of money going to us and our cronies when we already know that in 10 years or 20 years, all this is just going to need replaced again. But that's good for business, you know? So I don't know. I don't really see. And beyond any of that, guys, if you understand how energy works, how energy has worked throughout civilizations, please read the book Entropy. It's very, very eye-opening in that regard. The book is called Entropy by Jeremy Rifkin. It was written in 1981. Now, yes, Jeremy Rifkin is literally the person that wrote the book, The Green New Deal. I do know that. But it's wonderful to hear his perspective on things, especially in 1981. Now, if we understand how energy really works, though, and we never replace one source of energy completely with another one. All right. So most people we just add it to the energy base and we just grow. So solar panels and wind is it's not replacing anything. It's just being added on to what is being consumed all the time already anyways. It's all growth. It has to grow. The whole societal structure has to grow indefinitely in some, as if there was no physical limitations to anything, as if we were not on a finite planet with finite resources. So it's just kind of wild. But like most people think that, oh, well, we used to burn wood as our primary fuel source. So now that we've switched to oil and natural gas, which is oil, basically, so we must not burn any wood as fuel anymore. No, if you look at graphs, if you across many different platforms, you look at these graphs and you see the wood, we're using every bit more wood for fuel source than we ever have been in history because there's more of us. It just, all the other sources are just on top of that. We're still burning every bit as much wood as we ever have, more than. But boom, 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 boom. Do you see? And the solar and wind is the same thing. You just add it to the base. And so the monster just grows more. So we're not replacing one thing with anything. So, yes. Stephanie Stevens says, why are my walking onions not getting tall in zone 10B? Because they're in dormancy. They came from northern Indiana, and their genetic structure is, they're saying, hey, it should be 10 degrees right now. So don't worry. It's not if you guys got the walking onions, they are going to grow. They're going to grow. Don't worry, okay? So, oh, we have a guest just snuck into the house. What are you doing? Come here.
I'm kidnapping you.
What is it?
I'm kidnapping you.
You're kidnapping me for what?
For no reason.
Oh, for no reason. Those are the best things. Yes. So, tell everybody how to say your name.
Tegan.
Yes, Tegan. How do you spell that?
Tegan.
And how old are you?
9.
9. All grown up. Where are we going after this?
To Elliot's.
Oh, yeah? We're going to Viking Brothers' house after this because we're going to have Grandma Battle Axe and Viking Uncle are going to come there, and we're going to have a little, we have several different kind of Christmases that we have to do, so we're going to go there and do that, right? Yeah. What do we play at Elliot's house?
What?
What do we play at Elliot's house? Ting, ting. What am I doing? Ting, ting, ting.
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Ping
pong. Yeah.
Come on,
yay,
ping pong.
Yay.
Of course. Yes, we have to play ping pong, guys.
We have
to. It's not an option. Yes?
Yeah, you need. It's a need.
What is that?
I don't know. An alien.
Oh, yeah. Some little girl left it at the house. Okay, guys. So, okay, thank you. So, let's see here. Yes, everyone says nice to meet you, Tegan. Says hi, Tegan, and they're all spelling your name right. Yes, everyone says hi, kiddo. Yes. Let's see here. Adam says, to a degree, it's being added on, but many utilities are intentionally buying renewable energy in order to decommission coal-fired power plants. Yeah, I know that that's the plan, and I know that maybe that appears what's happening. I don't feel that's happening because when the more that you understand about energy, you understand energy is everything. Energy is everything, and you can't. Someone who does a really good expose on energy and the green energy myth. And remember, I don't hold like a one or the other type of viewpoint. I'm the whole spectrum of possibilities are open. You just have to acquire the knowledge and the understanding and just observe. But someone who is really good at this, look up Peak Prosperity. Chris Martinson, very, very sharp guy. And he has probably a playlist now, but it's the crash course, okay? And the number one is energy. And he explains so much in such a good way. Please watch this if you're interested in that kind of thing. He also has a video called The Green Energy Myth. So, and I'm not saying that video is fact and truth. I'm just saying exercise your mind, get to understand these different viewpoints and come up with your own things. But I just don't see any of that happening because of the way solar is so radically different than what we're used to. We're used to a really concentrated source of energy that is easy to transport and a major concentration. And it's there day and night, anytime, whenever we need it. But solar is completely different. It's much less. It's much less dense. Very not dense, and it's only there part of the time. And so, so we got to build batteries, and we got to do it. So, the whole civilization is built around this energy source that is very dense and very easy to transport. So it's not like you can just switch all of that to solar now. It's just not, well, let's just shut down the coal-fired power plants, okay, and turn on the solar panels. Okay. And that's why you get totally ludicrous, insane things like the, look up reflectorbital.com. Reflectorbital.com. Okay. Look that up. And these guys are selling sunlight. And they are going to utilize reflectors in space to point sunlight at solar farms in the nighttime to illuminate the darkness and power human civilization. No, it's to make money, but it's bizarre. It's totally bizarre that people think that that's going to work. Okay, that's the answer. The only answer is that we have to radically transform our whole civilization and way of living to be dramatically less consumptive. That's the only option, is that we have to consume drastically less. Yeah, but nobody wants to hear that. Nobody even wants to contemplate that. So, all right, guys. Tsunami Tommy says, yes, Peak Prosperity is a gem. Definitely, guys. Okay, guys. So, we are coming to an end. Okay. So we've got to see, Rick says in Australia, they wanted to turn off coal-fired power plants to do in 2035 to 2050, the targets. Right. Okay. And I understand they're targeting that. But again, how? None of that makes any sense without some major catastrophic shift in the way that everything is done. Think of it. There's no regulations at all. You can just consume as much energy as you want to at any time. Drive anywhere, just burn, baby, burn the energy as much as you can. And so that can't happen indefinitely forever. As each person keeps expanding, physics don't work that way. And so It's going to be wild ride, guys. The next 10 years, 20 years is going to be totally awesome. It's a very exciting time to be alive. It definitely is. Yeah. And remember, there's nothing to fear. When we talk about this kind of stuff, there's absolutely nothing to fear because we condition our lifestyles to be resilient. We are adaptive, we are resilient, and we will thrive no matter what. So all that stuff we just talked about, don't ever let it get you down. It doesn't matter because you will construct your corner of the earth to be resilient and you will be able to thrive no matter what. Because your garden will be resilient, your food will be nutrient dense. You don't care what they're doing because you're not participating in that. You're going to thrive. Okay? So we'll see the Thrive Tribe Monday at 10:30 a.m. on the Thrive Like a Viking channel. And we'll see everybody else right here, 12 noon Eastern time next week. And if you guys want to get other people on the show, send them an email because these content creators, and I know, are difficult to get a hold of because they get so many emails and so much stuff. So you'll have to email them. I'll probably have to email them a couple times before we get a response, but eventually we probably will. So go ahead and do that and say, hey, the tribe would like to have you on the Garden Like a Viking show because we would like to, interview you. Okay, because it's me interviewing, but it's us interviewing because I go off of all your questions as well. Okay, so all right, guys. Well, we had a great talk. And remember, if you're buying anything on Amazon, do it through the Viking storefront. Bookmark the Viking storefront and then purchase stuff through Amazon through that link. We will get the credit for that. Okay. Okay. Taita, Sean, is that from Edible Acres? Because we've already been in correspondence. We're doing it for sure. I'm going to wait until the viewership is back up in the early springtime. Okay. Oh, yeah, we will interview Jerry. Oh, yeah, we should interview Jerry on this channel. We did an interview on the Thrive channel a few weeks back or a month ago. But yes, we will get Jerry on this channel before long. Okay? Okay, my friends.